Hi there, I'm Cordy, and you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to draw. And that's awesome. I'm a mostly self-taught artist, which means I learned how to draw just like you right now, watching tons of tutorials and also buying and rifling through tons and tons of books. But in this video, I want to show you my method of how I draw everything I see. There are probably as many methods out there as there are artists. So I want to share my method with you. Maybe that really works and clicks with you. So let's jump right in. Let me show you on this rhino what I mean when I say first you have to learn how to see. We kind of have to dissect this rhino into different shapes. So here the head is kind of an oval, and then the ears are squares. The body is sort of like a triangular shape, and then the nose as well. The other thing that you have to sort of look at is the relationships. For example, how big are the ears compared to the head, or how big is the body compared to the head. The next thing to look at is how are these shapes positioned? What are the angles in relationship to the other shapes or other things that are on the page? And the last step is finding the line between light and shade. As you see there, that purple line that I'm drawing is kind of the borderline between the lightest and the darkest areas. Sometimes that line is a smooth gradient, and sometimes when the light's really sharp and harsh, it's a quite straight line. And the other lines down there that I'm drawing there, those are the wrinkles, and inside those deep wrinkles there is no light, so we can draw them later on just as lines indicating the texture. And that's what light does as well. It brings out the texture in an image. So let's get to work. Let's draw that lovely rhino onto the page. Here we go. So let's have a quick look at the angles first. Here is the shape, the oval, and that's sort of the angle that we're going to place it at. So here we draw very lightly that oval shape, and then let's move over to the ears, drawing the one ear first, kind of figuring out where the positioning is, and we'll just draw a little square there. And then let's see the other ear is just a slightly little bit higher up. The pencil is a really good measuring tool to catch these little differences. Now the body just goes along the line of the head, and then the lower part is just a little bit lower here than the head. So here we go, just very lightly sketching it in because we'll be drawing on top of it and we don't want to get confused. So let's have a look here. You see that angle? Let's look over on the picture. Is it the same angle? Looks like it. Those are the angles we want to catch. Now let's take a look at more detail. I'm going to go around the shape and just refine it a little bit. Almost like carving out the finer contour out of that oval that we made, just going around the head and finding the little pieces. You still, even though it's much more detailed, you still have to pay attention to the relationships between the spaces, the length of the lines, and where things are located, and also at the angles, at which angles they are. So here the jawbone, I guess it would be, of the rhino coming down, and then from there those little ridges in the skin go up, and then over here by the ear, going over the head, it's almost like a little house shape. Okay, so let's take a look at the ear. There is it's almost like a square there, and then if you very carefully look, I don't know if you can see it, but the ear is a bit fuzzy at the edge, so we can draw little squiggly lines to indicate that texture. You always want to make sure you add as much detail to a drawing for somebody else to recognize, but then just as little so it's easy for you to replicate. Now let's find the positioning of the eye. It's in line with the horn there, and then in line with the eye. So measuring that over, round about here. Yep. Making that little eye. And even if it would be a little bit off, don't get discouraged. The drawing might still work in the end. Always keep on going and do your best at finding those relationships between shapes and angles. And drawing is like handwriting, you know, there's a little bit of individuality in there for you. I always make a little smile onto my animals. Obviously, if you look at the rhino, it's not smiling, but that's just what I do. So let's add some more detail. Let's start at the horn there. There is a little line showing the base of it, and it lines up sort of with the tip of the nostril there. So let's see, yeah, if we can get that happening. And then there's another horn that has been filed off. I can assure you nothing is wrong with the rhino. I took the picture in a zoo and they said they had to file it off for medical reasons. So we're just gonna draw that space where it would be. Sort of an oval shape there. Trying to line it up as well with the part that defines the smaller horn. Okay, got that. Now we're going to go down to the, I guess we would call it the nose. So we draw the nostril. Nice round shape at the end there. It's a bit tricky, but we'll see how it goes. So that would be the nostril. And then I'm not sure. Am I happy? No, I'm not happy with this eye shape. I'm going to try it again. The eraser is your friend. Always remember that. If something doesn't work, just erase it. I think this looks better. What do you think? Here we go. Okay. Back to our lines and ridges and wrinkles. We're going to define that contour there on the nose a bit more because there's lots and lots of those little wrinkles. Just making it a bit more wavy. I hope you can see a little more of an organic form. And then adding all those little lines, all those little wrinkles, some of them horizontal, some of them are vertical. Just very lightly. And then some over here, as you can see. And later on, when we use the fine liner, we can make them in different thicknesses, the line, giving the line different qualities. That makes it look really realistic as well. So at the base here, there's more of the wrinkles. And then, of course, the wrinkles around the eye. So you see, the more details we add, the more it looks like the rhino we've got on the page. And those details are defined by the lack of light, actually, because inside the wrinkles there is no light. So we're looking for those lines. And even here, it's sort of a bump that the head makes, and the light shines on the part that is closest to you, and then there's the shadow behind. So that's the line that we want to draw. And there's more wrinkles up and over the head. They have a bit of a different quality. They're a bit smaller. So those are the details that we noticed as we were looking before, and now we're putting them down. So more texture details up on the back. There's this really big ridge between the ears. So let's draw that one. It's quite a tricky one to do, but that's another example of not having light. The light hits the welt of the skin, and then there's a shadow behind it, and that's what we draw. That's the line that we pick. It's quite tricky because it comes down here to the side, and you want it to be integrated into the line that shows the back. So I hope I got it here. Making the ears a little bit round and a little bit more fuzzy. So now I think we're ready to use the fine liner over the pencil. I use 0.3 to start out with and just go along the lines, picking the line that defines the shape the best. That's why I love using fine liner, because you can go over the drawing again and make corrections if necessary. Let's speed this up a little bit because it's just going along the lines we already made, all of them, every little wrinkle, and that's the moment where you can add or leave out some, make those corrections. And now I switch to the 0.5 and just go along the outlines because it really makes the drawing pop. Sometimes I just do one side to make it look like there's a shadow on that side, but it really depends. It's all up to you, what you think is right and it looks right to you. Here we go, all around the edge here. All right, what do you think? I think we managed a pretty good rhino here. And let's add a couple of more dots. How about that? Dots are amazing. They spice everything up. And you're not sure is there texture or not, you can just add a couple of dots and it makes it look real interesting. That's what we always look for in a drawing, right? It needs to look interesting. Realistic, I'm not so sure, because we can just have a photo of it and then it's realistic. So I'm always going for interesting. All right, let's get rid of the pencil lines. And here we go. Here's our rhino. So let's quickly review the steps. The most important part about drawing is seeing first. So you want to see the shapes, see the angles, find the angles, how the shapes are positioned, and obviously the relationships, what's the size of those rough shapes. Then you want to look at the light and shade, find the line that separates the light and shade. Sometimes it's a blurry gradient and sometimes it's a very sharp line. And the last step is to add the details and textures, and the texture is also revealed through the light. So finding that line that separates the light and shade will give you a clue about the texture as well. So now you know what to practice, and that's the secret to drawing. Practice, practice, practice. I practiced in the beginning with stuffed animals and dolls because they were already simplified. Their shapes were already simplified for me. So just copying them down gave me a good starting point to then go on into learning the anatomy of people and animals as well, to make them look a bit more realistic. Having said that, I still enjoy drawing cartoony figures the most, and my style is very, very cartoony still. So that's the next thing I want you to know and bear in mind, that drawing is a style thing. It's like a handwriting. Yes, of course, when you draw realistically, it needs to look realistic, but the fun in drawing is putting things down on the page your style with your personal handwriting. That means there are no bad drawings. There are only drawings that you can learn from, where you see, oh, maybe this needs to be done differently or this needs to be shaded differently. But there is no reason for you to not take a pen to the page and draw right now. You do not need permission to create, and I really hope you enjoy your practice. You can check out my other YouTube videos. They're all really short drawing tutorials working with the same concept that I've just taught you here. Let me know in the comments if this was at all helpful to you and what you would like to know more about. And yeah, let me know if there's anything particular you want to know how to draw, and I will draw it for you and we can draw it together. I hope to see you soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.